I feel like you just defined that it's like the definition of Black abundance, specifically in the context of diasporic Africans in the United States of America, and probably all over the whole entire world, as Western values and cultural dominance impact so many spaces around the world outside the U.S. Yeah. So I'm curious about like what comes up for you when you hear the phrase Black abundance and what your own experience of abundance is.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. If I cry, it's only because I called in my people at the top and I hear them really loudly right now.
Yeah. Welcome to Tears on the Big League podcast, Geoffrey.
Disclaimer: we welcome tears on the podcast. So my experience of abundance is complicated. Complicated. So I'm 47. Over my life, so looking from here backwards.
Yeah.
There's a younger me that I don't recognize. I am now old enough and wise enough and have enough time on the planet to know, oh, baby, I wish I could go back and support you. I really wish that I could go back and help you understand that who you come from, where you come from, that how you all vibrate, how you speak, the food you eat, all of it is so profoundly valuable and meaningful and worth something. Because a younger me was pretty quickly, to indict the education system where I'm from, pretty quickly educated away from like, if you want to make it, you have to leave all this behind.
That's right.
All the people, all the folkways, all the food, you have to leave all of this behind in order to, frankly, survive at one level and succeed at another. And I was very up to that task, just to be truthful. I was really good at that activity. Over time, feeling lost in the world and having real questions about where do I belong? Because, you know, when you get into some spaces after doing all the things that you were educated and told to do, you're like, I still don't fit. Like something is still not correct. I haven't done it. Whatever it is, I haven't actually achieved it. So it took some time, lots of time, to unlearn that. It'll be the work of my life to continue unlearning that.
Hello again. Hey, it's me, Anasa, and your Big We podcast. I have no time because I just finished talking to Geoffrey Jackson Scott about Jaja's African Hair Braiding, and we talked for a really long time, and I have a meeting to get to. I'm gonna be late either way, so I'm gonna do this pop 3 for y'all lickety split. Y'all know I love you. You know I want to be with you, but I just don't have time today because you know what? The last 3 weeks, my schedule has been back to back. I looked up this morning and I realized that I don't even have my lunches scheduled anymore. So I haven't had a break in like 1,287 days. So we're going to have to do this quick. But you know I love you. Don't take it no kind of way. Okay, pop 3 today. Pop 3. So there's this new book out. It's called Iconic. And it is an interior design book. And all the designers inside the book are Black. And it's all these gorgeous, gorgioso images and tips and bios. And go get this book. Get this book. Iconic, okay? Second in the pop 3 today. So Rock and Roll Hall of Fame did their inductions this past week. And I'm super excited because Missy Elliott was inducted into the Hall of Fame. She is the first female rapper to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Her outfit was killing the whole entire game. If you haven't seen her Instagram post around that induction, you need to go look at them and you need to congratulate her for being inducted. And also, Don Cornelius was inducted, the host of Soul Train. I was so excited about it. Now, I have to admit that when I was reading about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, it brought up for me the whole thing that's happening with Rolling Stone right now. And it made me want to make sure that y'all know and that y'all can go read about what's happening. So about a month ago, maybe there was an interview with the co-founder of Rolling Stone magazine, which absolutely is a different institution than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but it's hard not to think about them in the same conversation. So I'm not talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They haven't done the thing, but the co-founder of the Rolling Stone magazine, his name is Jess Winner, I think, Wenner. Anyway, he said some crazy stuff on the internet. Okay. He was talking about like, well, the reason why we didn't have more other kinds of folks in the magazine is because women musicians and Black musicians are just not sophisticated enough to be a part of what we're doing. And of course, everybody is up in arms. It was terrible. Like, how Black people are not sophisticated enough to be in your funky rock and roll magazine. Do you know that we invented rock and roll, sir? Women are not? What? Okay, I don't even need to, whatever. But I want you to read this article because this week in the Rolling Stone, the Black Rock Coalition put out an article called It's About Accountability. It is a beautiful, top-notch article addressing their history with the magazine and the comments and all those other things. And I don't know if y'all know, but this is a rock and roll. This is definitely a Black Rock Coalition stand podcast. We love them. We love the Black Rock Coalition for so many reasons that we don't have time to go into. So there's that. Y'all make sure y'all go check that out. And then, do y'all know Zainab Johnson? She is an actress and a comedian. She was in this Amazon Prime show called Upload that has, I think they're in their 3rd season now. She has a fantastic Instagram feed and she's a stand-up. And she has a new special out, a stand-up special on Amazon Prime Video. So make sure y'all go check it out. It's called Hijabs Off. You know, hijabs, like the head covering that Muslim women wear, some Muslim women wear. And it's on Amazon Prime and it's funny. She's funny. She's so funny. And her skin, wow, melanin popping. Her skin always looks so amazing. I'm like, what do you put on your face, girl? Your skin. But you don't have to watch it for her skin. Watch it for her jokes because she's super funny and amazing. Okay, there you go. Now, Geoffrey Jackson Scott, my sweet, beautiful, wonderful friend who I met last year, maybe a year ago. We were doing a project together and he is just a special, thoughtful, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. I'm so excited for y'all to hear us talk about Jaja's African Hair Braiding. Oh, did you see Jaja's African Hair Braiding? That show is so good. But here's us talking about it. See you on the other side. Sometimes in your life, you meet people and first you see them and you're like, immediately, oh, that's my person. And then you talk to them and you're like, how did I get to be so lucky to come across such a wonderful, gracious, brilliant, generous-hearted person? And that happened to me the day I met Geoffrey Jackson Scott. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the podcast, Geoffrey! That's hilarious that you did that because I've been doing that. So my sister called me and was like, why are you doing that? It's hilarious. I'm so happy that you're on the podcast.
You don't even know. Like, I have a mixture of like prom night emotions. A lot of joy, a lot of nervousness. Bless this cup of coffee, which is steadying me.
Coffee. Mm-hmm.
I'm so thrilled to see you and to be with you.
I know. It's been a minute since I've seen you.
Yes, it has.
Yes. Tell the people about you and how magical you are.
Ooh, that's a tall order. What to say? Tell the people about you and how magical you are. Yes. I got to tell you, I guess, about my people. That's the best way, I think, to show up.
Yes. That's the first thing you ever told me. And I was like, who is this man and why do I love him already? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's important to me. And to say what is also true, it helps settle my nervous system to remember that I'm not here by myself. Yeah. So who am I and how am I magical? So I'm the great grandson of Alice Jones and Frank Blue, the grandson of Loretta
and Monzel, the son of Peggy and Freddie. I was born in Quincy, Illinois, which is just across the river from Hannibal, Missouri, land of Huckleberry Finn and Mark Twain and all that. So I'm a river kid, small town boy. I am the eldest child of Peggy and Freddie. I have a younger brother, Kevin, who I just heard today has COVID. So we are wishing him well. Yes, him and his 3 babies and his wife, they are all trying to move with COVID. Yeah. Yeah. So we send them all the things. Yes. My younger sister, Shannon, who is my heart. I couldn't love her more. I am the husband of Aaron Sedolia, who is an extraordinary Canadian surfer, recent surfer. For the last couple of years, he's been surfing and getting his groove back out here in Los Angeles. And the work that I do in the world for the last 10 years or so, I have run a company called People Mover. And we work all across the arts and cultural landscape with museums and theaters and opera houses to support organizations and individuals inside those organizations who are longing for change, who are longing for a world that we dream about, where these spaces, which always already belonged to all of us, can actually, in a real way, live into that promise. So that's the work that I do in the world.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, already I'm like enamored all over again. What a human being. My God, so happy to know you exist in the world. How are you doing?
I'm all right. All right. It's a strange time on the clock of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel that, and I feel that deeply. As a triple water sign, I feel all of that.
I forgot that about you. God bless you.
It's a strange, strange time in the world. But today I'm well. I'm going to see the Marvels later because we have to support.
Oh, no. We definitely are all going to see
the
Marvels, aren't we, y'all? Going to see the Marvels.
I am very excited to see the Marvels. I cannot wait. So, yeah.
The trailers have me very excited.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning like, I'm going to the movies.
That's right. And the strike is over. Ooh.
You know how happy I am that the strike is over?
I do. I feel like I do know how happy you are because I've been listening this season and I've been hearing you talk about who can't promote what and trying to support and whatnot.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because the people who you want to support the most, like you don't even know what they have coming up.
That's
unless
right.
you really, really dig because they're not allowed to say anything.
That's
and it's so bad.
Yeah.
So I've been like deep in the cut.
Yeah.
Hear everybody's new announcements. I'm like, finally, Oprah can talk about the color purple. Come on, Oprah. Give it to me. Let me have it. Come on, Fantasia Barrino.
Fantasia? What do I want to say about that trailer? So there's something happening in the world. I know this is not what we're here to talk about, but my husband and I, we were watching the trailer for Mean Girls yesterday.
I just saw that.
And we were watching it and he was like, is this a musical? And I said, let me tell you something. I believe it is a musical because in the logo, there's a musical note, which then started a whole conversation about like, why are we pretending in this teaser that it's not a musical? And then I reminded him, well, remember the Color Purple teaser also was really working. I felt quite hard to not let the musical notes out of the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What is that about? Are we musical haters? Is that what's happening?
I don't know. It's like, do we...
myself.
Come on.
I love me a good musical, okay?
Come on.
Do not stop me from busting out into a spontaneous, joyful song in the theater. Because I will.
I mean, do I believe that there is a musical better than The Wiz? I don't, but
there doesn't need to be because when you're at an 100, if everything else is at 85, then you're still good.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That is correct.
You know, two of my 3 favorite movies are musicals.
What are they?
Oh my God, don't laugh at me.
I wouldn't.
One is The Wiz.
Get it? Yes.
The other one. The other one is The Sound of Music.
Okay, so full disclosure. Full disclosure. Don't laugh at me. I have never seen The Sound of... I know. And I feel the assignment coming. I know that it will be assigned to me as homework.
It's okay. It is very easy and also very difficult for me to assign the Sound of Music to people.
Okay.
It's easy because it is literally my favorite movie. It's probably the movie I've seen the most in my life. I used to have had a family friend it was her favorite movie, and she introduced it to me, and like we would watch it all the time. And then they played it every year at Easter on TV, and so it's just very accessible. And now I like own it, so I watch whenever I want to. But also, the songs are jamming. The songs are killing so hard. The songs are jamming. Okay,
I will say this. It feels to me like this is the first time anyone has ever described the songs from The Sound of Music as jamming. Not that they aren't great, but just that particular sentence.
Now, you know how I feel about music, okay? You know.
I do.
Me and music. Them songs are jamming.
Okay.
Right? Or jamming on the one. And also.
Not jamming.
It is also a 3-hour movie.
Okay.
With 100% white people.
Okay.
It's set in Austria.
Mm-hmm.
Culturally very, very, very far. Very, very, very far. But the music is killing. It's a classic love story, and there's a lot of shade in it and like a lot of catty behavior. See, the triumph of the human spirit through song is, honestly.
Okay. So,
you might need to watch it in chunks.
I'm gonna watch it. You did tell me it's 3 hours.
It's so long that it has an intermission.
Okay.
Like when you watch it, there literally is like a screen that says intermission, so you can go get up and pee.
Yeah.
It's that long.
Wow. I will watch it. I will, because of my love for you and how you love it. Yeah.
Yes. I made everybody watch Sound of Music on my birthday. And also there is an amazing, because you live in LA, every year at the Hollywood Bowl, they have a Sound of Music sing-along. And people come.
Is that the right or the wrong? Am I speaking English? Is that the right or the wrong way to experience it for the first time?
It's a fun way to experience it for the first time because it's like the whole Hollywood Bowl. People come up dressed in outfits. They have a costume contest. They get you get like a little pack of like tchotchkes, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
But you may not know it's a great first time.
I might do that.
It's a great.
I was much, much younger than now. I think the first time I ever went to Chicago, which for me at that time was the big city.
Yes.
Friends of mine were like, you got to go to this thing. So we went to a live screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I'd never seen before.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that it was one of the first times. This feels true. Who knows about memory? I'm old now. But what feels true is that it was the first time I was also in queer community, like in that way. It was an experience. And now, I mean, I imagine if I had seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show on my own, I might not have the love for it that I have for it today because of that experience.
The first time I ever saw Rocky, the only time I've ever seen that movie was also at a live experience. I think it's one of those things that like it comes alive in a different way when you see it in that context.
Yeah. And I had never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like that. The closest to that experience, and this may make people go wild with anger, was church.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel you. Mm-hmm. Yes. I feel you. The only other thing I've ever seen live in a crowd that had that kind of energy, like Sound of Music, sing-along, Rocky Horror Picture Show, was, have you ever seen The Wiz in an audience?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
Yes, I have. Miss Dawn Lewis. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Amazing.
Was Coleman in it? Coleman was in it. When I saw it, Coleman Domingo was in it.
What?
That's right.
The Wiz live in a theater with Coleman Domingo?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Do you know I'm obsessed with him?
I do now. If I
was going to be a stalker to somebody, it would either be John Boyega or Coleman Domingo. Just seriously.
So how many mentions is that of John Boyega in season 5?
127. Please, sir, do not call the law.
Right? You and Erica Badu, I swear.
I mean, he's a little
I get it. I get it.
You do.
Very charming.
What can you do? I'm one of the other people who I'm excited that is who has the tape off their mouth from the SAG after the strike being over is Coleman Domingo, because I am so excited about Rustin. I'm so excited. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. I cannot wait to see it. In fact, when I was buying my ticket for the Marvels, I had a real struggle because Rustin is also at the local theater.
Oh, that's right. It's in limited theaters in Princeton.
And I kind of want to see it in the theater.
We don't get to see it in the
Oh.
theater. No, we don't get cool stuff like that.
But it'll be on your Netflix.
I know, but I really would love to see that on the big screen.
That's my feeling. I might. I've been thinking about it. You may have just swayed me. I'm like, do I double feature it today? Because my Friday today is open.
Yes. What do you mean? Do you double feature?
It seems like a strange cocktail, doesn't it? The Marvels and Rustin.
I don't think so. Truth and justice in the universe. It sounds good to me. What? If the question is, do I do a double feature? The answer is always yes. That was my favorite thing to do when I was a teenager. I would just go to the movies all day long.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's different and very different because you get like a whole different level of dynamic and adventure.
That's right. I love the movies. I love the movies so much.
Me too.
This is part of the reason why I'm so geeked that the strike is over. Some of it, like I know a lot of people in the industry and who have been hurting. Yeah. So my first energy is yes. And I really want to read the document.
Yeah.
I really want to know what y'all get because I know what you want, what you get.
Yes.
And as a consumer of culture.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you. It is not lost on me how much I, as a human being, need the movies. Coming from a small town, it was like the way that I learned about the broader world and other cultures and other communities and learned a great deal about myself. So yeah, it's like this. We need them. We need them.
The movies is a way that I learned about other worlds, and that there could be other worlds, and that I could actually dream and be and have whatever I wanted and was to.
That there are Black people in the future.
You better believe it. Yeah. You better believe it. If there is nothing else, there will be Black folks.
That is correct. That is correct. Word of the bond. That's correct.
Okay. So a couple weeks ago, I was in New York.
Yes, I heard.
And I was at this amazing meeting, and we ended early. And every time I'm in New York, as often as I can, I go see a Broadway show because I was born in New York. I grew up in Jersey, and Broadway is kind of like my second favorite thing. First, it's movies. Is that true? Or is Broadway my favorite thing? But it's just not as many. I think Broadway I like more than movies. Yes, Broadway is my favorite thing. And like my secret that I don't tell anybody is that if I did my life over and I could do whatever I wanted, I would be a Broadway star. Singing, dancing, acting.
Singing. I was waiting for the singing to come out. Okay.
Yes, I would be on Broadway every night. 8 shows a week. Let's go.
I see this for you.
I'm just almost dramatic enough to have that kind of life. So I went to go see this show. I won't tell what I thought about it yet, called Jaja's African Hair Braiding. And I posted about it on the plane on the way home. And lo and behold, I saw your comment that says, I'm going to see it next Wednesday. And I was like, if there was anybody that I could talk to Jaja's African Hair Braiding about, it would be you. I'm so excited for us to have this conversation.
Ditto.
I just need to know, like, what were your first impressions? Like when the curtain closed, what was going on inside your body?
I was so shook up. I love the way you asked that question because you start from the end. Yeah, I was really stirred up. I'm not sure that I've gotten to my feet faster in any show. I was up and out of my seat and ecstatic. I could have sat. I don't like this phraseology, if that's proper English. I could have sat through it all over again. It's like, can we start again? I don't know if this is your experience, or how you move in the world. I think of myself, I self-describe as a slow processor.
Mm-hmm.
Something that happens for me in movies and theater is they move at such a clip.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, sometimes I just want to like, can we just pause? Because, ooh, that was, but it doesn't stop. And so I really was like, can we run it back?
Yeah.
Because there's some things I want to look at, I want to examine, I want to think about, I want to talk about with my roommates.
Yeah.
I want to understand, what did we see? Because we bring what we bring. So our seeing is shaped. But it's like, did we all see that? So when you said, like, let's talk about it, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been able to talk about it with anyone.
Did you go by yourself?
Yeah.
Me too. And I wanted to talk to the man sitting next to me so badly. I just wanted to be like, are you? But I didn't. So I'm grateful to talk to you too. So
how did you feel in your body?
Oh, I want to say the phrase I was in shock, but that's not completely. I wasn't in shock because of the the ending was so abrupt, and I was like, you're not going to leave me like this, are you? You're not going to leave me like this, are you? Is how I felt. And then after a few moments, I was like, oh, I'm left with the feeling that the characters were holding in the show.
Yes.
Their experience in the last 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is how people feel for like in actual life. Like this is this anticipation, the unsurety, the abrupt, the catch of the breath, like all of that. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel settled. I'm not supposed to feel complete. I'm not supposed to feel resolved, because that's the whole point of this story, is like the lack of completion, the lack of resolution, the lack of comfort and safety, the feeling that folks are left with when they have this experience. So I'm going to pause for a second, because I'm like, y'all don't know what the heck we're talking about, because I know y'all didn't see Jaja's African Hair Braiding. So this show is a Broadway show. It was a limited showing. It's still on now, and they're actually about to do a live stream. I think it's November 14th through 19th. So by the time you hear this, it may be too late, but hopefully you'll be able to catch it. But it is a show about, this is one of the things I love about this show, is like, how many times have I been in the African hair braiding shop? Okay. I'm like, I know all these people. I know every one of these people, every one of these women that came in, the people who work here. Like, I know these women. And it's set in the African hair braiding shop. And it really, like, the first 90% of the show is like the experience of being in that context and getting to know these women. Their histories, their personal dynamic, their idiosyncrasies, their dysfunction, their relationship, and like howling laughter for the whole first 90% of the show. Like the man next to me, the reason I wanted to talk to him is because he was laughing so hard I thought he was going to pass out. And he was like a little Puerto Rican man. I'm like, do you even know these people? And I'm like, oh yeah, he does know. He does know them. He does know them. He knows these aunties. And then there's like this sharp turn, and it becomes a conversation about immigration, which I just want you to know, I had no idea. I did not know. When I was looking for a show, I'm scrolling through the list of the Broadway.com. Like, I have time. I'm going to go see a show tonight. And I was like, African hair braiding on Broadway. I don't give a damn what they're talking about. I'm going. I'm going to see some African hair braiding on Broadway. And so I had no idea what the show was about.
Wow. Okay.
Did you know, Geoffrey, what it was about?
No, I am very susceptible to other people's opinions. My vision can get shaped pretty sharply if I'm not careful. So I don't read reviews.
Yeah, me neither.
Don't read the blurb. Don't tell me anything. I just want to have an experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know anything. The only thing I knew is that Jocelyn B.O. wrote it, and Jocelyn is an extraordinary writer and human. I had the great pleasure of knowing her at different points in my career a little bit, and I have so much love for her and her work and what she is doing, how she's using her life and her work. So it's like Jocelyn could write a restaurant menu and I'm going. Like, I'll be right there. Tell me what's the address. I'll be right there. So I knew I had to be there.
Yep.
In fact, I sort of organized my whole trip around. It's like I was in town because of the Malcolm X opera at the Metropolitan Opera and some work that we were doing around it. And I want to be careful because they may listen. I love them. They're my partners and friends. It was important to be in town for that. Yeah. And I also scheduled my trip so that I could be there to see this piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lakeisha May, who is an actor in the piece, she plays multiple characters. Is somebody that I've known a little bit and seen her work a little bit and think she's so fantastic. I actually DM'd her afterward and I told her, it's like, you ate every character, every scene, every moment. Like it was Carol Burnett show level comedy.
Yes.
That she delivered moment after moment after moment. And I have never seen her like that. It was amazing. So
I think that's an important thing to talk about because the acting in this show was so incredible. Wow. And so many, like there were two or three actors, one man and two women who played multiple characters.
That's right.
In a 90, 120 minute show, and they were playing like 4 and 5. And every time I had to be like, is that still them?
Yes.
So, just so good. That show was so good. The other thing that I'm really fascinated about was how they did the evolution of the hairstyles.
Come on.
Right. So like this takes place all in one day, but there's one woman who is literally in the shop from the time they open the door until the time they close. And y'all know, y'all have those hairdos that take 12 hours to get done, right? Yes. And so she's there the whole time, but you see the progression of her hairdo over the length of the show, which is like a 12-hour timeline that happens in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wild. How did they do that?
I've been watching tons and I recommend it to anyone. I'm a deep nerd. So if there's research to be done, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, do it.
And I really needed to understand who made these wigs because the hair is, I don't even have language for how incredible the wig work is. So I really needed to understand who did it. How did you do it? And I've watched all these videos on YouTube, and what is clear to me after watching hundreds of hours. I've watched more YouTube videos than the length of the show to try to understand how you do that. And it was so clearly a journey, and just to continue loving on Jocelyn and this work.
Yeah,
such an important love act to do it right. Yeah, that's what comes through every time I watch a video with the designer of the wigs, whose name right now in this moment I cannot recall.
I spent a lot of time on her Instagram, the woman who did the wigs, because when I was with a friend of mine when I decided to go to the show, and she was like, her name is Elle Moxley. We were at the meeting together. And Elle is a trans activist. She's a filmmaker. She is the CEO or the ED, I'm not sure what they use, of the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. And so I'm sitting next to her, like, I need to go to a show. And she's like, my friend did all the hair. You need to go to this show. And so she sent me her Instagram, and I spent like an hour after the show, like just deep diving her Instagram.
Yeah.
And I also cannot remember her name right now. I'm going to look it up.
I'm going to do her honor because I have the playbill in front of me. Nakia Mathis.
There you go.
Did the hair.
There you go.
Yeah.
Incredible. That pink hairdo. I was like, come on, pink. Come on, poodle pink hairdo.
That. Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
Amazing.
That I want to go back to the immigration conversation because I was thinking about and I went for a walk after the show because I was like, I'm going to walk. I was staying maybe like 20 blocks from the theater. And I just was like, I'm just going to walk as far as I feel like walking because I just didn't want to sit down. I needed to move.
Yeah.
That. And it struck me on my walk back to the hotel how I was trying to recall another instance where I had seen storytelling about immigration that had to do with Black folks. And I couldn't, for the life of me, come up with another show.
Yeah.
A film or maybe have read books about it, but I'm like, certainly not Broadway, but I can't even think of a film or a TV show that really dealt with Black people and immigration in that way. And saw a lot about how narrow the narrative is about immigration on the right and the left, and how there are so many people in the immigration conversation that are not seen. And many of them come from African and Caribbean countries.
Right.
I spent a lot of time thinking about that after the show, and just like, what does that mean, and how, like, as funny and vibrant and beautiful as this show was, just like, it's actually a really important story.
That's right.
Yeah. And I was grateful. I felt really grateful for having seen it, especially because I had no idea what I was going to go see.
Yeah.
And then it made me feel like, I was like, this needs to go on the road, and there needs to be a curriculum, and where's the cultural strategy, and why isn't Geoffrey working with these folks?
I mean, I'm just gonna let you have said all that. I feel I'm speechless because we did. I'm aware now that we did the same thing. I also needed to walk, and so I did. And it wasn't a conscious thing. I just started walking out of the theater and my feet kept moving. And in retrospect, it's like, ooh, I wasn't ready to change the energy.
No.
Yeah. Another way to think about it is digestion. It's like, I just really needed to be with all of the emotions that were stirred rather than changing the context of, like, I'm in a car, I'm in the whatever, like, just to really be with it.
And the energy.
Yeah. And so I walked around as well. And I haven't lived in New York for 3 years now. And I can't claim to be an authority on New York or anything. I lived there for 15 years. Okay. That's some time, but that's not a lifetime, or not this lifetime anyway. Yeah. But it feels important to me, knowing New York as I do, that show is happening on Broadway.
100%.
And that it is happening in that city, in this moment, when the conversation about the movement of people lacks personhood, nuance, humanity. Like, I could go on. It felt extraordinary to me, the disturbance of that piece. It's like, this is so important that I take the we away, it felt important to me that I could leave there feeling my own connection to what it is to try to build safety and community when you're constantly under surveillance and under threat. It's like, my people came here some very long time ago, so long ago that I have no access to. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know by force of whom we came to be here. But the experience of trying to build safety in and amongst your people, trying to, as we say where I'm from, and as many Black folks say around the diaspora, to make a way out of no way. I couldn't know that experience any better. And just to be reminded, this is a unit of connection. This is a place where we are linked. This is a place where our struggles are linked. It was really important to me. Yeah.
I love that. That makes me think about this season. we've been talking about Black abundance for the whole season. Every
Yeah.
episode, we're having that conversation, and you bringing that. Like when I hear you speak about making your way out of no way and finding your people and being like in your own little cultural contextual bubble, that you decide, that you make choices, you and your folks make choices about how you're going to be when you are in complete control of the domicile.
Yes.
That just begs a conversation about Black abundance, because I feel like you just defined that it's like the definition of Black abundance, specifically in the context of diasporic Africans in the United States of America, and probably all over the whole entire world, as Western values and cultural dominance impact so many spaces around the world outside of the U.S. Yeah. So I'm curious about like what comes up for you when you hear the phrase Black abundance and what your own experience of abundance is.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. If I cry, it's only because I called in my people at the top and I hear them really loudly right now. Yeah.
Welcome to Cheers on the Big Week podcast, Geoffrey.
Disclaimer: we welcome Tears on the Big Week podcast. So my experience of abundance is complicated. Complicated. So I'm 47. Over my life, so looking from here backwards, there's a younger me that I don't recognize. I am now old enough and wise enough and have enough time on the planet to know, oh, baby, I wish I could go back and support you. I really wish that I could go back and help you understand that who you come from, where you come from, that how you all vibrate, how you speak, the food you eat, all of it is so profoundly valuable and meaningful and worth something. Because a younger me was pretty quickly, to indict the education system where I'm from, pretty quickly educated away from like, if you want to make it, you have to leave all this behind.
That's right.
All the people, all the folkways, all the food, you have to leave all of this behind in order to, frankly, survive at one level and succeed at another. And I was very up to that task, just to be truthful. I was really good at that activity. Over time, feeling lost in the world and having real questions about where do I belong? Because, you know, when you get into some spaces after doing all the things that you were educated and told to do, you're like, it's still not, I still don't fit. Like something is still not correct. I haven't done it. Whatever it is, I haven't actually achieved it. So it took some time, lots of time, to unlearn that. It'll be the work of my life to continue unlearning that. And all of that is bringing me to a reclamation of something. When I was a kid, there was a language spoken all the time in my family, and I didn't know how to hear it until I was older. If I got it, you got it. If I eat, we all eat. I really didn't understand until I was much older. Oh, that was us practicing and languaging abundance.
Yes.
I just did not know. Now, thankfully, I do know. And what it means to me that I do know is I can't imagine it because I saw it.
That's right.
Because I experienced it.
That's right.
It was nothing. So I grew up on Elm Street in Quincy, Illinois, 1026 Elm Street. All up and down the street, cousins and everybody. Years later, I learned that my great-grandmother was raised 2 houses away from where I was growing up. I had no idea, but she's like, yeah, that used to be our house. I was like, what are you talking about? So I grew up on the same street that my great-grandmother had lived on, that my grandmother lived on. So it's like I am a person in the world that comes, I went to the same high school that my grandparents did and my mother and my uncles. So I'm from that place in this country, that kind of experience.
Yeah.
So it was nothing on Elm Street for everybody to raise you. It was nothing on Elm Street. If you were short, come over. There was always a plate. There was always a seat. There was always a bed. Nobody had to be ashamed about asking. And I talk about it now with it sounds romantic. It sounds like a fiction, but it's like, no, I actually lived that, but I didn't know the value of it. I thought it was silly and foolish and country and a way not to be. So it's like when other people, I'm not going to name anybody, when other people in my family started to use language about get mine, secure the bag, like that kind of language, those are the moments. And this was later in my life. So this is, I don't know, like in the 90s or early aughts that I was like, this sounds like a hoarding kind of scarcity sort of energy, even before I really had language for that, but it just didn't sit right in my body. So my experience of abundance actually is remembering, using that in the way that a lot of people I love use it, in a way of like pulling oneself back together.
We need the Holy Ghost up in here.
A remembering that I actually always already had it. It was here already. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. I sometimes lament, especially as somebody who I have the exact opposite growing up experience as you. We didn't live near any family at all. And we moved around a lot when I was a kid because my parents, like, they're professional, right? My parents were in school and my father's residency, and then we have blah, 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 blah. And then as an adult, I've literally lived everywhere, literally.
Yeah.
And I sometimes lament that technology and mobility and all those things has us, all of us, many of us, not all of us, many of us, finding our life, like moving to find our life, like exploring the world to find our lives and ourselves. And that we don't have that grounding and that history and that multi-generational connecting to a piece of land and a space and a place, that like multi-generational placemaking and like understanding yourself better because you found out that your great grandmother lived 2 doors up the street. You know, so like that does something for you, that grounds you and rounds you out in a way that most folks don't have that experience anymore, because you go to college and you stay, or you go to college, you get a job and you go over there, or you, whatever, you have no money to buy a plane ticket. So you go to France and you never come back, or whatever the thing is. And it's, I'm reminded, which I feel like is kind of what's drawn me to the work that I'm doing now. I'm reminded about how exponentially, expansive it is to connect your conversation, your walk with abundance to a place. And that is something to think about. Something to think about. That's something, especially in the context of Jaja's African hair braiding, when your place is somewhere where you're not really allowed to be.
Yeah.
And you have to make a place in a family, in a community, in a place where you have to hide. And the character who we hardly ever see in the show, who the whole show is really about, Jaja, her quest, like the drive that she had to have over everything to be safe and visible in a place, like that ultimately led to her having to leave that place.
Yeah.
It's wild to think about it from that point of view. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yikes. Ooh, wait.
You
Yeah.
stirred many things in me. One thing, to touch the narrative of my own life. As wonderful and fantastic and incredible as it is to be able to claim that place, and primarily for me, it's like the place matters, but it's the people. The people. I've been many places. Some of the energy of the people in those places was not correct.
That's right.
The people. But to do honor to my own background and narrative and history, my mother married a military dude. So I moved around a good deal also. So I lived in Quincy till I was 9. So I lived there till I was 9. Then I moved away, first to Oklahoma, then to Alaska, and then returned to Quincy when I was 16. And finished high school and. So that is, yeah. So I've been around. I have been around.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
And another thing that you stirred, just thinking about the context. I don't know, as a queer person and a Black queer person in particular, I don't know how to talk about the space of a salon without also just acknowledging that it hasn't always felt like the safest space for me.
Yes.
So that was, as I was watching the piece, I was really I was having to do some inner work to hey, I know you carry trauma. I know you carry experiences. This ain't that. This is not that. And I really had to invite some energies not to be there so that I could enjoy the piece. It was, yeah. Again, coming from where I come from, for most of my young life, Dwayne Palmer was the barber. He cut hair out of the back of his place. So you'd go to Palmer's place, and you'd enter through basically the back of the house, which he'd set up as a barbershop. And then if you walked through the door, the inner door, you were now in his house with his wife and his kid. And I went to school with his son. So he cut my grandpa's hair, and he cut my hair and my uncle's. So sitting in that space as a kid in a small town barbershop, by the time I moved to Chicago and then later New York, those experiences are so radically different from what I experienced. Like the landscape of the place, the number of chairs, the number of stories, etc. It's just a very different space than what I experienced. But by the time I had dreadlocks, which I don't currently have, but when I had locks and was going to get my hair done in Fort Greene when I was living in Bed-Stuy, that is the place where it's I definitely know the experience of Jaja's hair braiding, and it's because I had locks for a period of time, and it's because I went to that particular shop in Fort Greene. Yeah. And I had the great pleasure. You were talking about the guy sitting next to you. So I went to the Wednesday matinee, and in my row was a student group.
Oh.
A whole bunch of students. I don't want to racialize them because I don't know. I didn't ask nobody. Yeah. Those, to see that piece with those young people, I thought I almost cried 100 times. Because they were seeing themselves. They were seeing a world that they know. They were seeing people that they know. On the entrances of many of those characters we were talking about, the characters that Lakeisha plays, and Michael, who plays a couple of different male characters. On those entrances, the way my row lit up, they knew those people before they spoke.
That's right.
Just the way they moved. Just their rhythm. It was amazing to see that piece with those young people.
I love that. For me, you're making me think about Anna's hair salon.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, my mother would not let me get a perm. She would not. She was like, I don't care. That's not true. My father would not let me get a perm.
Okay.
My mother was advocating for the perm. Because she was like, you don't have to comb her hair every day. My father was like, you will not straighten my African child's hair. And the first time I ever got a perm, I went to Anna's salon. And I went there for many years. And that is who I thought about. Is a Dominican woman. And all of her people her cousins, her sister, all worked in the shop. And then I thought about college, being in Atlanta and being like, I gotta get my hair braided. And I'm like, Brooklyn, Atlanta, LA, African hair braiding shop, Memphis, it's all the same on the inside. It's all the same on the inside. The African hair braiding shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the people that we know.
Yeah, those are the people that we know. That's right. That's right.
I love that. I hate to say this, but I think our time is up. I'm not done talking to you. I'm feeling very sad. I'm feeling very pulled in my heart. I'm like, oh, man, I love you so much.
I love you too.
I'm just realizing this moment I don't talk to you enough.
We can fix it.
We have to. We must fix it.
Yeah.
We must. And I was about to say, when I come to LA, I don't want to wait to come to LA to talk to you. We don't have to wait. You're such a thoughtful, special human being. What a wonderful brain you have. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
You need your own podcast. You're just so thoughtful. I feel like where is the People Mover podcast, Geoffrey? Where is it?
I don't know, but I'll think on that.
Okay.
I'll think on that.
I feel like we need to hear from you. You have a very beautiful way of seeing the world, and I feel like we need to hear more of it.
Wow. So you're trying now to make me cry because I didn't cry yet? I see what this is.
I have a goal in my life to make me cry.
There's a little Oprah Winfrey. There's a little Iyanla. I see what's happening. Let's just pull the waters out of you.
Hey.
I see what's happening.
Yes.
The next time we talk, we'll do like Oprah after the show. The next time we talk,
yes,
we must talk. Because I've tried to be careful about spoilers with Jaja's. We must talk about the character of B.
Yes.
I have a wondering. I couldn't watch this show and not think about community. I couldn't watch the show and not think about how we build and how we break. She leaves out at a point. And returns. And in the leaving and the returning, it has been my obsession all week. I'm like, I want to see that play. I know it's not Jocelyn. Because for me, clearly what I've done is now I've launched into like, I'm going to tell you about it.
Wow.
For me, what happens in that place has so much to teach all of us about how to work with difficult emotion, how to feel and how to be with feeling.
Wow.
It's like, ooh, where did you go? What did you do? What was the process? Teach me. We need it. I feel like we don't know. Now I sound like Leslie Jones. I love Leslie Jones, but I've been watching her a lot lately. I'm like, she really is she's trying to teach us something.
Oh, Leslie Jones.
I love Leslie.
Knows what she's talking about.
Yes. If you're not listening to her audiobook, please do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like that.
In the next episode, I'm gonna. Yes, got it.
Whatever B does when she leaves, in order to restore and return, has a lot, I think, to teach us about feeling and how to feel.
Yeah, I think that's so important. That's so important. The character B in the show, for y'all who have not and may not see the show, is like a woman who, like everybody has that auntie who is a little spicy, like a little hot in the mouth, you know what I'm saying?
A little hot in the mouth.
Hot in the mouth. And it's just like, if sour grapes was a person. You know what I mean? Just like, you just want to be like, auntie, hush, stop. You know what I'm saying? Just like nasty attitude and just real, just like, always got something to say.
She says the quiet part out loud.
Right. That part. And it is, at some point, somebody says the wrong thing to her and she's like going off and storms out.
Yeah.
Is what Geoffrey's talking about. And yes, when you're watching her, especially when she leaves, that her whole way she shows up is like from a well of pain.
Yes.
And from a well of missing out, and from a well of scarcity, if you want to talk about abundance, and
That's
a
right.
well of like not being able to experience the sweetness of life, or feeling like she doesn't have access to the sweetness of life, and believing that she actually deserves it more than everybody else. If anybody up in here should have this, it should be me.
Right.
And like, and yeah, that is a mystery to me, is like how folks who are holding that kind of pain manage, process, and heal in the moment. Not like a big healing, but like how they heal enough to walk back in the door.
Enough to walk back in the door.
Come on.
You've been talking this season about being healed and whole. And it's like there's something in the minutes that she's off that I think holds some of the mystery, some of the secret for us. Like, how do we walk
back in the door?
Yeah. I've been in a Buddhist studies course all year.
Have you?
Just trying to get my life right, frankly, trying to understand who is this human? Because I'm out here humaning. Who are you? So I've been in this Buddhist studies course, and there's a framework that we were just introduced to last week. And if I get it wrong, to borrow from Malcolm X, the mistakes are mine, not my teachers. They're mine. The framework that we've been talking about is that so it's a conversation about a scared world versus a sacred world.
Yeah. In
a scared world, we are scared, we can be selfish, and we can move in ways that hold us separate. It was impossible for me to watch that character and not be thinking about that framework as I witnessed her. And part of the journey toward a more sacred world is about moving from scared to courageous, moving from selfish to compassionate, and moving from separate to connected. It's like that energy. So when I leave the show, again, we bring what we bring. So I'm watching it informed by all of my work and all of my life, but also this framework.
Yeah.
And really watching it and just thinking about, wow, the way that this piece is saying so much to us about community, about how we hold each other and how we hold each other together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Everybody see it.
May we continue to find, that's so funny, this word private is coming up. Private and public ways to continue to find ourselves. I pray that over you, over me, over everybody listening, and everybody who ain't listening. Yes. We love them too.
We do.
We love them too. All right. I love you very much.
I love you so
much. Thank you for your wisdom and your thoughtfulness. You left me with a lot to think about today.
Ditto.
Thank you for watching Jaja's Hair Braiding. Thank you for being so serendipitously aligned with my life.
Yes. To borrow from Adrienne Marie Brown, the universe be knowing.
Listen, every time.
Yes.
Every time.
The universe be knowing. I was supposed to be there. You were supposed to be there. This was supposed to happen.
That's right.
All we had to do was show up.
I'm good at that. And you are great at it. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for the invitation.
Talk to you later.
I'll talk to you soon.
Soon.
Bye.
Okay. After talking to Geoffrey, I just want to have a cup of tea and look at the sunset. What? My God, he just makes me feel so calm. That's why he's such a good facilitator, because he gets everybody in the room breathing together. You know what I mean? Physically, but also in the energy together. He's so amazing. What a gift to have a friend like him. I love hearing him talk. Okay, so before we get out of here today, yes, I'm so excited. Finally, we're able to see all of the commentary from The Color Purple. It's coming. Strike's over. Go on everybody's Instagram. Go on Oprah's. Go on Fantasia Barrino. Go on all the people who are in the movie's Instagram feeds and websites and see them talking about this film. It's going to be, I might pass out in The Color Purple, y'all, but it's coming out on Christmas Day, December 25th. Put it in your calendars. We're all going to be there. We're going to try to sneak in. We're supposed to be done with the podcast by Christmas, but we're going to try to sneak in an extra episode because I don't know how I'm supposed to not do an episode about The Color Purple. Does that sound right to you? It does not sound right to me. So we'll see if we can figure it out. It might just be me on my cell phone. I might just call everybody and be like, hey, y'all, let's talk about The Color Purple. But if you send me a text message, you'll know because I'll send you a text message back and tell you we're on for an extra episode. So text me at 901-676-7372. Make sure you go on our Facebook and our Instagram and I started a TikTok page. I'm on TikTok. I'm like the young kids now at Anasa Troutman on TikTok. And the Big We on Instagram and YouTube. And like and subscribe and ring that little bell and all that stuff. You know how to do. You know what to do. Thank you so much for the privilege for allowing us to use your music on this episode and every episode for season 5. And thank you to Unit Studios for making us look so good and sound so amazing. All right, so I'm going to see y'all next episode. I'm going to run to my meeting. I got to go. And remember that abundance is your birthright. And I love you. I love you. I love you, love you, love you, love you. See you soon. Peace.